Okay, so let's talk about what a circle is. And so basically, in this particular lesson, we're going to write the equation of a circle given the center and the radius. Remember the definition of a circle. So the definition of a circle says that a circle is a set of all points in a plane that are equidistant, so equal distance from a fixed point, and that fixed point is called the center. That distance from the fixed point to the center of the circle, from the center of the circle to any point on the circle is called the radius. So in other words, let's suppose that this right here was my center, and let's say my radius is 3 units. So I'm going to go 3 units to the right, 3 units to the left, 3 units up rather, 3 units to the left, and then 3 units down. And then all I'm going to do is just do the best I can with connecting these points using a circle, making it look like a circle. Alright, so it's not going to quite look like a circle, but we'll use that to discuss this definition. So the definition of a circle says that a circle is a set of all points, in a plane that are equal distance from a fixed point. So in other words, all these points here, all these points, if you look at all these points on the circle are the same distance from a fixed point, and that fixed point is the center. That's all that's saying. Alright, so all these points in the circle are the same distance from that same fixed point, which is called the center. Okay, so that was the definition. Now, in a previous lesson, you saw what the equation of a circle looks like, and that's this right here. Now that's the standard form. So the standard form of the equation of a circle. So it looks like this. Your standard form. So it's going to be r squared equals. Let me do this first. Let's just put x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. All right, so that's the standard form for the equation of a circle. Now keep in mind that h comma k, that point hk, is called the center, is the center of the circle, and r is just the radius. Okay, so hk is the center and r is the radius. And notice you're saying x minus, y minus. And the derivation of this was in a previous video. Alright, so let's look at number one. Alright, so you want to write the standard form of the equation of a circle. So write the standard form of the equation of a circle. Alright, so number one. So let's suppose that the center is 3 comma negative 2, and the radius is, let's say, 4. So the center is 3 comma negative 2, and the radius is 4. Now again, it helps if you label these. Remember, that's the center, so the center is denoted as HK. So this is your H, this is your K. Alright, and remember this is your X coordinate of the center, and this is your Y coordinate of the center. And so notice the H goes with the X, and the K goes with the Y. Alright, and your radius is 4. So it helps if you denote it. And all you do is just plug it back into the formula and you're done. Because that's all they wanted, was to write the equation of a circle. So you just plug it back into the formula. So you're going to say, parentheses, x minus 3 squared plus y minus k, and k is a negative 2 squared, equal r squared, so that's 4 squared. Now don't leave your answer like this. You must go a little bit further with this. So you got to say the answer is going to be x minus 3 squared plus, you have to know that y subtracting negative 2 means y plus 2. So you have to write it like this, otherwise it's not going to be correct. And then 4 squared is 16. And so there's your answer. That's your standard form of the equation of a circle with this center and this radius. Right, number 2, suppose the center is negative 4 comma negative 2. Now, let's make it negative 3. Negative 3. And the radius is, let's say, 3. So again, you're going to plug into your formula. So this is your h, this is your k. So you're going to say x minus a negative 4 squared plus y minus a negative 3 squared equals 3 squared, r squared. So you just plug it back into this formula. And so rewriting this, I'm going to get x plus 4 squared. So you have to write it as x plus 4. X subtracting negative 4 means x plus 4. And then plus y minus the negative 3 is y plus 3 squared equal, and then 3 squared is 9. So there's your answer. All right, number 3. Suppose you had, the center is 2, negative 1, and the radius is the square root of 3. Let's say the square root of 3 this time. All right, so this is your h, this is your k, this is your r. So I have x minus 2 squared plus y minus a negative 1 squared equal the square root of 3 squared. Okay, simplifying this, it's going to be the answer. It will be x minus 2 squared plus y subtract a negative 1 means y plus 1 squared equal. Now the square root of 3 squared, remember, means the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, which is the square root of 9, which is 3. So that's 3. You gotta say 3. All right, number 4. Suppose the center is negative 5 comma 2, and the radius is the square root of 6. So again, you're going to label this as hk. It does help. So you're going to say x minus a negative 5 squared plus y minus 2 squared, so that's your k, equal the square root of 6 squared. So I expect to simplify this. So the answer is going to be x subtract negative 5 is x plus 5 squared. Y subtract negative 2 squared. All right, now the square root of 6 squared, remember, means the square root of 6 and square root of 6, which is square root of 36, which is just 6. So that's your answer there. Let's suppose you had 0, negative 2 is your center. So 0, negative 2 is your center. And the radius is, let's say, 5. All right, so there's your h, there's your k. So you can say x minus 0 squared plus y minus the negative 2 squared equal 5 squared. Now, I expect you to be able to simplify this. So you need to know that x subtract 0 is just x. Don't leave it as x subtract 0. You have to say that is x. So this is x squared. You got to write it like that. And then you got to say y subtract negative 2 is y plus 2 squared. And then 5 squared is 25. So there's your answer. Number 6, suppose the center is just the origin. Let's see what happens there. So suppose the center is just 0, 0, the origin. And suppose the radius is, let's say, 7. Now notice the radius, and you notice the radius is always positive because that's the distance. So the radius is always positive. But some of your coordinates are negative because your point could lie anywhere in a plane. All right, so you're going to say x minus 0, remember that's your h, that's your k, so x minus h squared plus y minus k, 0 squared, so that's your k, equal 7 squared. And again, you have to know that x subtract 0 is just x. You have to know that y subtract 0 is just y. So this right here is just x squared. This right here is just y squared equal, and then 49. And so there's your answer. Okay, all right, so that's going to take care of that part. So just remember, all we did here was just given the center and the radius, we just wrote the equation in standard form. So this is a standard form of a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And so the center has coordinates h, k. So h is your x coordinate, k is your y coordinate, and the radius is just r. and that's all that is.